Well, guys, once again, good evening. Welcome to our session. Well, basically tonight we finish officially our unit 8. On our unit 8, like the final component that the unit has is talking about the work culture. As you remember, when we began our unit, it was more related to like how to behave, not like how to behave, but talking about social behaviors. We were talking about manners. And in this final part is not that connected, to manners in particular, but of course we're talking about different behaviors that currently are like very popular and very common. As you remember, the title says addicted to games. That is this is what we're going to be doing tonight. It is combined with different aspects. We will be watching some videos. We will be working collaboratively a little bit, and of course, eventually we will talk about the information that we need for our speaking part. Remember, guys, that tomorrow on the first part you have the written exam, and then on the second part we will move to the speaking part. I don't wanna like give the information right now, but just to keep in mind that this is one of the aspects that we will be covering, okay? And guys, just to refresh your memory, in case that some of you haven't taken the survey, don't forget that this is one aspect, an administrative aspect that we have to do tonight. Maybe we don't have like all the participants logged in tonight, tomorrow. I know that some of you are still missing on this aspect. I will check the list one more time, and later in the session, I will refresh your memory about that. In case that you already did it, don't repeat it. Okay? No la repitan, por favor. Si ya la hicieron, ya la hicieron. Solo quienes saben que no la han hecho, de pronto si quieren compartirla en su grupo de WhatsApp, también sería una buena idea. La coordinadora nos está informando cuáles son los participantes que hacen falta. Entonces, obviamente arrancamos la sesión, vamos avanzando y más o menos en la mitad, si esas personas están conectadas, les escribiré internamente. Por favor, no se les olvide realizar la encuesta. Hace parte de todos los informes y pues todos los procesos administrativos que ustedes se imaginarán. Hay que llevar, hay que enviar a la gobernación. Okay. Well, guys, let me take attendance so we can officially start with tonight's session. Today is the 12th. Oh, April goes fast. Gerson Arismendi.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Keiner Baez.
And here, teacher.
Okay. Jean-Claude Barrera.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Yesid Calderón.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Camargo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. William Castrillón. Not here for the moment. Andrés Correa.
Hi, teacher, present.
Okay. Hi, Andrés. Andrés Corredor. Andrés Corredor is not here for the moment. Silvia Cuellar.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Johan Alberto Duque.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Elkin Darío Fernández.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Julián Jesús Figueroa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Ginette Fontecha. Not here for the moment. Carlos Andrés Galán.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Mabel Gamboa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Cindy Juliana García. I think that I have seen her. No, I didn't. Not here for the moment. Well, many people are absent. Jose Alejandro Gómez. Bueno, perdón, José Alejandro, así Gómez García. I said it correctly the first time. It's not here yet. Lizeth Carolina Tarazona.
Present teacher.
Okay, and Brian Camilo Vargas.
Present teacher.
Okay. Let me check the list of the people who haven't taken the survey. Okay. So the ones that are absent are William. Yes, Brian, I heard you. Don't worry. Andres Corredor, he hasn't taken the survey. Jeanette. And Cindy Juliana. Who's absent? Okay. There you go. Well, Brian, don't forget to take the survey. Okay. We have another person. I guess it was Jose. Jose Gomez. Okay, yeah. I just want to change the attendance, make sure that I actually write down the correct information. Okay, Jose, no problem. I'll be ready. Well, guys, we officially start the final part of our Unit 8. As I was telling you, we will be working on the pages 84 and 85 of our book. We're talking about world culture. I was telling you that we're talking about behaviors in general, but we are going to talk about a very common topic, not lately necessarily, but something that has become part of our reality. For some of you, maybe in case that you know some people, you will share in a moment. As I was telling you, we're talking about this title that says Addicted to Games. Here it says work in pairs, but we are not going to do it in pairs. We're going to do it as a group. I'm going to read the questions for you, as usual. First, probably the ones who want to be volunteers and answer the questions, and then I will eventually choose some of you to provide these answers. Of course, maybe for you or for some of you, the answer is a negative one. It could be negative. It is not an obligation to say yes, of course, but expand on your idea, whether it is yes or no. The question says, do you play video games? If so, which games, sorry, and how often? The second question says, do you know anyone who's addicted to gaming? So I would like to know which of you guys would like to share your ideas from these two questions. Okay, so I want to choose you. Do you play video games? If so, what games and how often? And remember, if the answer is negative, expand why you don't play video games. Of course, there is a reason why you may not do that action, do that activity in your free time or whatever. And Johan Albert, what about you?
Teacher, repeat please this question, please.
The first one, yes. Do you play video games? If so, which games and how often?
Yes, yes, I do. I play FIFA and Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Uh, 3 or 4 times of weekend?
A week.
A week.
Okay. Thank you very much. Very good. Let's see, we have a similar or a different opinion. Natalia, what about you? The same question. Do you play video games? If so, which games and how often?
Okay, teacher. For me, I play video games. I play Legend of Phoenix in my phone. I play one, I don't know, 5 minutes a day.
Only 5 minutes?
Maybe more.
Because 5
I don't
minutes
know.
is like, like, okay, maybe because maybe it could be 5 minutes. I'm not like telling you that you are lying, but like 5 minutes, okay.
Yes, yes, teacher.
Okay. And that would be it. Good. Let's ask the same question one last time, and then we will move to the next one. Sylvia, do you play video games? If so, which games and how often?
No, I don't play video games because it's boring for me and I don't have so much time, so I can play video games. But when I'm free, I play Roblox with my brother, my young brother, but
Younger brother.
younger brother, yes.
Okay, and how often? Oh, you said when you are free, but there is a kind of frequency somehow?
No, I think just when I am in holidays.
Okay. Okay. Let's see the second question that is a little bit more serious. We'll see if you have had that experience and if you know someone who has lived that experience as well. Andres Correa, do you know anyone who's addicted to gaming?
Okay, teacher. Actually, I didn't know of anyone who is addicted to gaming. Probably some gamers or famous people who like streamers. They are addicted to gaming, but in my close life, I didn't know anyone who is addicted to video games.
Okay,
Addicted.
Andres. Thank you very much. Maybe Kainer knows someone who's addicted to gaming?
Yes, teacher. My younger brother is addicted to gaming,
Okay.
but my younger brother do a stream in,
That's
in his computer,
okay.
and he always talk about high ranking in games like Call of Duty or League of Legends, and only speak about games.
Okay, and how old is your brother, Kainer?
He's 23 years old.
Ah, okay. I was like picturing like a teenager or something, but no.
No,
And like how much does he play daily on average, of course?
I think he play about 4 or 6 hours per day
Okay. That looks
because he do a thing in this platform. They has to
they have.
complete an hour for day, and I think he play a lot of.
Okay. So the minimum is an hour.
The minimum is about 2 and 3 hours.
Ah, okay. Oh my God. It's a lot of time.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Kenneth, thank you. And one last person, Mabeli. Do you know anyone who's addicted to gaming?
Not sure. I don't know anyone.
Okay, very good. Well, guys, as you can imagine, of course, the first video, technically, we're going to watch 2 videos tonight, are related to that. And the instruction says, watch the video about gaming addiction. These ideas that are being presented in here, you will be watching them on the video. What you have to do is to choose the correct answer to complete the idea that is presented on each part. First, we're going to read the information that we have in here before we go to watch the video. Of course, to this point, we don't know the answer yet, right? So we're going to read one by one. Brian, could you read number 1 and the 3 possibilities, please?
The first part, teacher?
Yeah, number 1. 1 and A, B, C.
The presenter is interested in A, how, okay, teacher. A, how to stop children playing video games. B, why games are so popular. And last, the dangers of
Dangers of, well, video games. That's how I finished because somehow your voice like fade away, Brian. But that was the first one. Let's have a look at number 2. Carlos, could you read number 2, please?
Yes, teacher. Chris react violent when A, his mother
Reacted.
tried to
No.
stop
The
him.
idea is to read the statement as well, Carlos.
Okay, teacher,
Reacted.
right?
Reacted,
Reacted.
the pronunciation.
Chris reacted violently when A, his mother tried to stop him using the internet. B, his mother tried to make him go to school. And C, his mother took his copy of World of Warcraft.
That would be it. Thank you very much, Carlos. Elkin, could you read number 3, please?
Okay, teacher. In South Korea, A, a majority of boys are seriously addicted. B, a small minority is correct my pronunciation?
Minority.
Of boys are seriously addicted. Or C, serious addiction to games, it's not a problem.
That's it, Elkin. Thank you very much. And let's have a look at number 4. Gerson, could you read it, please?
Yes, teacher. The presenter believes that parents should stop their children playing games. Parents should encourage their children to play games. Parents shouldn't ignore their children when they are playing games.
Very good. Remember, guys, that what we are going to do is to watch the video in order to choose the correct answer. It is very important, guys, to keep in mind that it is not our opinion, because probably by reading, the statements, we can consider that maybe we already have a perspective on that aspect, and we would like to give our opinion, right? Like, okay, I think that the answer is this for me. But once again, it's not your opinion, guys. It's the opinion of the people who are presenting the information on the video. So it's something very important, like to keep in mind. I'm going to share my screen. In this case, you will have like the statements like ready while I share the screen so you can watch the video. We're gonna watch the video once, in case that maybe you consider that you need a second time, that's up to you. Let me know, of course, in advance, because then we are going to share the answers. So don't be like shy if you consider that the first time wasn't enough and you consider, like it is necessary to watch it a second time. Okay, let's watch it a second time. So guys, did you have any questions about the instructions?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay, so sharing screen now. Let's watch.
I'm at a premiere of a major blockbuster opening in London. But the stars here are not Hollywood actors. They're virtual characters in a computer game. I just can't believe how many people are here just to buy a game. In the past 5 years, computer gaming has exploded in popularity.
I love playing video games.
I play games every day.
We spend more than 3 billion a year on gaming, more than we spend on film or music. As a parent, I often wonder what effect it will have on my children. It's an immersive, interactive, cinematic experience, but is it too much for some people to handle? When Alison Dando's son, Chris, started refusing to go to school, she had no idea why.
Initially, we didn't connect it to the computer game playing at the start because it was just something that every boy did, and particularly a lot of the boys that we knew and friends of ours.
Chris had been playing World of Warcraft through the night. He was playing for up to 20 hours a day.
Once I understood that this game was online, I was saying, right, okay, well, the answer to it is we cut off the internet. That's it. And the response was just an outpouring of violence. He just went berserk.
I just smashed anything I could see.
That was the point where we started to really understand, from a parental point of view, gosh, this is dangerous.
In the UK, we still play mostly console games, but that's changing. Within 5 years, the government wants all of us to have broadband internet access. One inspiration for this plan is South Korea, the country with the world's most developed internet network. 85% here have fast broadband, and more than half play online games. But the government says it's created addicts. This is a boot camp for Korean youngsters addicted to gaming. Sang-uk's been brought here by his mum. Why did you send him to the camp?
He was too engrossed in the games. He would sometimes spend 10 hours playing them.
Eun-suk says gaming has taken over Sang's life. He's stolen from her to play at internet cafes, and his education's suffering. The Korean government believes that 2% of Korea's 11 to 16-year-olds are seriously addicted to gaming. I went to see the man charged with preventing the next generation of so-called addicts. While gaming addiction is yet to be officially recognised as a medical condition, he believes it's real and is heading our way.
I believe without proper countermeasures, the UK will also face the same problems that Korea is facing when games become more accessible through high-speed internet throughout your country.
I've come to a major exhibition in London to see the latest generation of games. It's easy to forget the benefits and sheer joy they can bring. I don't want to stop my son from gaming, but I'm going to keep an extra close eye on him to make sure he games safely.
Okay, guys, remember that by watching the video, the idea is to complete the statements that we have in here. Once again, not our opinion, but the opinion presented on the video. Do you consider that you have the answers, or you would like to watch it one more time?
One more time, please, teacher.
One more time, teacher.
Okay. Let me adjust. Okay, this is like the, let's say the final time we would analyze those answers, and then we will move to the next part, of course.
I'm at a premiere of a major blockbuster opening in London. But the stars here are not Hollywood actors. They're virtual characters in a computer game.
I just can't believe how many people are here just to buy a game.
In the past 5 years, computer gaming has exploded in popularity.
I love playing video games.
I play games every day.
We spend more than $3 billion a year on gaming, more than we spend on film or music. As a parent, I often wonder what effect it will have on my children. It's an immersive, interactive, cinematic experience, but is it too much for some people to handle? When Alison Dando's son, Chris, started refusing to go to school, she had no idea why.
Initially, we didn't connect it to the computer game playing at the start because it was just something that every boy did, and particularly a lot of the boys that we knew and friends of ours.
Chris had been playing World of Warcraft through the night. He was playing for up to 20 hours a day.
Once I understood that this game was online, I was saying, right, okay, well, the answer to it is we cut off the internet. That's it. And the response was just an outpouring of violence. He just went berserk.
I just smashed anything I could see.
That was the point where we started to really understand, from a parental point of view, gosh, this is dangerous.
In the UK, we still play mostly console games, but that's changing. Within 5 years, the government wants all of us to have broadband internet access. One inspiration for this plan is South Korea, the country with the world's most developed internet network. 85% here have fast broadband, and more than half play online games. But the government says it's created addicts. This is a boot camp for Korean youngsters addicted to gaming. Sang-uk's been brought here by his mum. Why did you send him to the camp?
He was too engrossed in the games. He would sometimes spend 10 hours playing them.
Eun-suk says gaming has taken over Sang's life. He's stolen from her to play at internet cafes, and his education's suffering. The Korean government believes that 2% of Korea's 11 to 16-year-olds are seriously addicted to gaming. I went to see the man charged with preventing the next generation of so-called addicts. While gaming addiction is yet to be officially recognised as a medical condition, he believes it's real and is heading our way.
I believe without proper countermeasures, the UK will also face the same problems that Korea is facing when games become more accessible through high-speed internet throughout your country.
I've come to a major exhibition in London to see the latest generation of games. It's easy to forget the benefits and sheer joy they can bring. I don't want to stop my son from gaming, but I'm going to keep an extra close eye on him to make sure he games safely.
Okay. Let's go back to our book. Remember, guys, that the idea was here to complete the statements. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes, probably in case that you took some notes in order to organize your ideas. And then we're going to socialize our answers. 2 minutes starting now. Okay. Oops, sorry. So let's see. From question number 1, I would like to ask, in this case, Julian Jesus. The presenter is interested in? Julian? What happened to Julian? Okay, Julian is not here. Keiner.
Yes, teacher. I think it's C, the dangers of video games.
There you go. That was what he was talking about. What about number 2? Lisette, Chris reacted violently when?
His mother tried to stop him using the internet.
Very good. What about number 3? Jessit, in South Korea?
I believe that is A. A majority of boys are seriously addicted.
Not really. Well,
Or
there
B.
is one reality that the video is old, right? It is like from 2010. Sorry, so...
Or B. I'm not sure.
Yeah, from the information collected on the video, it is B, because they said that it's 11. Sorry, I thought that someone was waiting. They said that it is 11%, but once again, the video is old, and that is why, like, I insisted too much, like, not our opinion, but the information that it is presented on the video. Probably these days it will be the majority, right? Technically, well, we don't know. We don't have the percentage or the average that currently is addicted. But technically, from the information on the video, a small minority, 11%. And what about number 4? Yeah, Jesse, thank you. Carlos, the presenter believes that, how does he conclude the video?
Maybe parents should stop their children playing games?
Not really.
B. Parents should encourage the
No.
children to play games.
No, Carlos.
No?
No. But it's first, well, the first one, it's way too like impossible, because at the end he says, it is impossible to tell my children not to play video games. So like stopping that to happen, it is going to be, once again, impossible. The second one is like the whole opposite idea. Guys, remember the meaning of encourage?
Sí, como animar.
Como animar, like to motivate, like to tell him, okay, go do it. And that is not the idea. Like, it is not to reinforce that activity in their lives. He concludes the video talking about C. Like, it is something that happens in their lives, but we can't just ignore children. Like, okay, they're playing video games and that's it. No. What are they playing? How much are they playing? What is their attitude towards the game? So that is like, let's say, the final conclusion that the presenter provides at the end of the video. Very good. Probably some of you guys consider that the answer, like for you in, I mean, your families in real life, would be A, maybe. But once again, as I was telling Jessit, that is why I insisted like way too much. It is not our opinion, but the opinion of the video. Yes, Carlos.
Teacher, but in the case of the young played about 20 hours a day, and the mother cut the internet.
But Carlos, notice what it says, the presenter believes, not the mother, not the one from South Korea. Yes, it was like that tricky thing. Very good. Well, guys, while we were watching the video, some numbers were presented. I already gave you one hint, you know, talking about a percentage, but here we have other numbers. 5 years, 3 billion, 20 hours a day, 85%, 10 hours, and 2%. The idea, guys, is that, let's say you, I'm gonna say like refresh your memory, but that we know exactly what these numbers are about. I'm gonna send you the link to the video, to the chat. Sorry for that awful noise. There you go. So guys, what you're going to do is you're gonna watch the video, but in this case, it's going to be done individually. You're gonna watch it again, and you're going to find these 6 numbers, what they are about, okay? Guys, would you let me know if the link that I sent is working well?
Yes, teacher, it works good.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So keep in mind, you're going to watch it individually in this case. Pay like special attention to these 6 numbers that are being presented. We already read them, and then we are going to check what those numbers are about. You already noticed that the video takes around 4 minutes to present the whole information. I know that probably in some parts you have to stop to write down what these numbers that we have in here are about. So I'm gonna give you in total 8 minutes. I know that you won't need to watch the video twice, but once again, thinking on the fact that you have to stop, write down what it is about, and then to resume the video. So in those 8 minutes, the idea is that you're going to collect information for these numbers, okay? Questions from this part, guys? Okay, I take your silence as no questions. 8 minutes is starting now. Okay, guys, it's time to check our answers. Let's see what these numbers were about. Jean-Claude, what about 5 years? According to the video.
Okay, teacher, computer gaming has exploded in popularity in the last 5 years.
Very good. What about 10 hours, Gerson?
Okay, teacher. 10 hours is the time that the guy spent playing a game. The time is told for your mother.
For his
Mother.
Okay, Gerson, very good. The Korean one, right? Okay. Johan Alberto, what about 3 billion? Johan?
Hi, teacher. I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Let's ask Andres Correa. Yes, you raise your hand.
Yes, teacher. We spend more than 3 billion a year on gaming, more than we spend on film or music.
Okay. Very good. What about 2%, Jose?
The average of time that the children play video games?
That 2% is not about time.
Ah, sorry. The It's not 20 hours?
No, I'm asking you 2%.
Okay. I don't have the answer, teacher.
Okay. Don't worry, Jose. Let's see. Elkin. I guess. Oh, you're clapping. I think that's you're raising your hand.
Excuse
right?
me.
Don't worry.
Okay, is the percentage of the Korean youngsters addicted to gaming?
Like seriously addicted. Once again, based on what they share in the video. Very good. So, Jose, that means that you have 20 hours a day, right?
Yes, teacher.
What about that one?
The average of time that the children of the video play video games?
Chris specifically.
Yes,
That's
Chris.
one of them. Very good. Yes, that's the one, Jose. Good. And what about 85%? Julian Jesus. Julian here has 2 accounts. Well, we don't know what's going on. Well, Kainer, 85%.
The most country, South Korea, has an internet network about 85%.
Fast broadband, and more than half play online games.
Okay, Kainer, that you have the video. Basically, yeah, like that's a percentage of people. It's about the people that has the broadband, right? In Korea.
Okay.
Wait, that was like about that one. Very good. Well, guys, we analyzed that video a lot, of course. I told you that we also had a second video, but in this case, the idea is a little bit different. Let me make sure that I'm sharing. Oh, well, anyway, you have the book, guys, so it is not a problem. In this case, 3 people are talking about video games. We have Imogen, Steve, and Carol. Here we have 4 questions. What you have to do, guys, is to match or to tick, actually, the questions that they are answering. Okay, so I'm going to say something crazy. Maybe question number 1 is only answered by Carol. Or maybe question number 2 is by Imogen and Steve. Oops, sorry. But that's the idea, okay? So they don't explicitly like say the question. What you have to do is based on the information that they provide, you have to tick the questions that they are answering. But of course, We're gonna read the questions first. Lisette, could you read questions 1, 2, 3, and 4, please?
Okay, teacher. The first, what is an acceptable amount of time to spend playing video games? The second, are video games too violent? The third, are violent video games a problem for children? And the last one, how should parents prevent children becoming addicted?
That would be it. Thank you, Lisette. Guys, do you have any questions related to the vocabulary presented here? Questions of vocabulary? Okay. So, first, the idea, remember, is to tick the questions that they are answering. And similar to probably an activity that we have done before, let's take some notes as well, taking into account the information that they are providing. Once again, it is not our opinion, right? It's the opinion that they are presenting, what they consider would be like, you know, the appropriate amount of time, if they consider it violent or not, the problems that it may, let's say, generate in children, and how to prevent becoming addicted. I'm sure that all of us have a different opinion about it, but for the moment, we're going to pay attention to the information that these people give, their perspectives are. We're gonna watch the video twice, okay? You have the book, you have the questions. Let me share the screen, the second and final video of this session, of course. Well, we have more things to do, as you can imagine. There you go.
I don't know how long is too long to spend. I think it's about variety and about whether it's spending time playing video games and not doing anything else at all. I think that's bad.
I think with anything, moderation is key. I mean, the amount of times that's healthy to spend playing games, obviously you play it all the time to detriment to everything else, then that's a very bad thing and you've probably got a problem.
I think a lot of video games are too violent, and I personally am quite worried about my son playing too many video games because I'm a bit concerned about his viewing too many guns and seeing too many violent things and the effect that that's going to have on him.
Are video games too violent? Well, there are plenty of violent video games, but there are also plenty of non-violent ones. As to are they too violent, well, it depends on the audience they're intended for.
Well, I definitely think that video games have a negative impact on children. I think there's a lot of research out there that basically says that children who see too many guns or play with video games that show a lot of guns on there, have more of a violent behavior. And not a lot of these children don't understand that what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable.
I mean, in regards to video games being too violent for children, well, violent video games aren't intended for children. I mean, they're very clearly certified with an age rating, the same as given to feature films. So you have a board of people who look at the games, rate them for violence, and if they're thought unacceptable for children, they're rated either 15 or 18 for more extreme cases. So children shouldn't be anywhere near violent games.
I think that encouraging kids to do lots of different things is really good. I don't think that they should tell them not to play video games because instantly people are going to want to play more, but encouraging a variety of interests. I think lots of children can become addicted to video games quite easily, but if parents are paying attention to what their children are doing, really it's just a matter of allowing them a certain amount of time that they can or cannot play their game. So it's really down to parents paying attention to their children.
It was the second time.
I don't know how long is too long to spend. I think it's about variety and about whether it's spending time playing video games and not doing anything else at all. I think that's bad.
I think with anything, moderation is key. I mean, the amount of times that's healthy to spend playing games, obviously you play it all the time to detriment to everything else, then that's a very bad thing, and you've probably got a problem.
I think a lot of video games are too violent, and I personally am quite worried about my son playing too many video games because I'm a bit concerned about his viewing too many guns and seeing too many violent things and the effect that that's going to have on him.
Are video games too violent? Well, there are plenty of violent video games, but there are also plenty of non-violent ones. As to are they too violent, well, it depends on the audience they're intended for.
Well, I definitely think that video games have a negative impact on children. I think there's a lot of research out there that basically says that children who see too many guns or play with video games that show a lot of guns on there, have more of a violent behavior. And not a lot of these children don't understand that what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable.
I mean, in regards to video games being too violent for children, well, violent video games aren't intended for children. I mean, they're very clearly certified with an age rating, the same as given to feature films. So you have a board of people who look at the games, rate them for violence, and if they're thought unacceptable for children, they're rated either 15 or 18 for more extreme cases. So children shouldn't be anywhere near violent games.
I think that encouraging kids to do lots of different things is really good. I don't think that they should tell them not to play video games because instantly people are going to want to play more, but encouraging a variety of interests.
I think lots of children can become addicted to video games quite easily, but if parents are paying attention to what their children are doing, really it's just a matter of allowing them a certain amount of time that they can or cannot play their game. So it's really down to parents paying attention to their children.
Okay. Once again, guys, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes for you to organize your ideas. First, what we're going to check is which of these questions they answered. That's the first part. That's the first thing that I'm going to ask you, okay? The other part, we're going to do it collaboratively. So 2 minutes for you to have a look at the ideas brought. If you decided to write down anything, great. And then let's have a look at the question that they answered. 2 minutes, starting now. Okay. Now we're going to see which of these questions they were actually answering. So from question number 1, Jessit, which of them answer what is an acceptable amount of time to spend playing video games?
Imogen and Steve.
Very good. And you get these awful drawings that I get. What about the second question, Natalia? Are video games too violent? Silvia, Natalia, first.
Yes, teacher. Steve and Carol saying think the same about the video games, but Steve thinks some video games are violent and other or another ones are not
Other ones.
violent. Other ones are not violent.
Very good. Usually, like a mini parenthesis, Silvia, another is when we're talking about something singular and other is plural.
Okay, another singular y other plural.
Good. Good.
Thank you.
Welcome. Natalia, what about the third question? Are violent games a problem for children?
Teacher Steve and Carol.
Very good. I seriously try to make a decent tick, but it doesn't work. And finally, Mabeli, question number 4. Which of them answered that question?
Teacher Carol
and
Imogen.
Very good. Okay, so that was the first part, to identify which of those questions they answered. Remember, guys, that the intention was like to take some notes. I know that probably you had to do a lot. Very general ideas of what they were, let's say, expanding on related to the question that they were answering. We already know what the first question is about. Lisette, do you remember what Imogen said about that part? Question 1, sorry.
Yes, teacher. She said that she didn't know how long to spend playing video games. That she didn't know the exactly time or amount of time.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Lisette. Keiner, what about Steve? The same question, number 1.
He said that I don't know if he says a time, but he said that it's a bad habit, spend a lot of hours playing video games.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't specify like a number of minutes in particular. Yeah, he's more like talking about moderation and how important it is, right? Okay, that was good, Keiner. Let's have a look at question number 2. Well, I don't know if Julian is here, guys. Has he maybe written anything in your WhatsApp group? Julian, there you go. I see your microphone. Okay, that's okay. Let's have a look at question number 2. What's the answer that the Steves provide when he was asked, are video games too violent?
Steve said that some games are too violent, but depend to the public are directed. Dirigido.
Directed.
Direct.
Good.
Yes.
Very good. Like depends on who is going to play it at the end of the day. Nice. Good, Julian. Jose, what about the answer that Carol provided for question number 2? Jose Gomez. Well, then, Johan, you are in charge of sharing Carol's answer from question number 2. Johan Alberto.
Carol.
Question number 2.
Okay.
Are video games too violent? And Carol,
Violent.
the violent. Carol said, I remember that the games violent, no, the violent games
Violent.
violent are uh, yes, are just violent. So yes, yes, uh, yes, I is they are the video games so violent.
Okay, yes, the video games are violent.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Something that we could, thank you, Johan. There's something that we could add to Carol's answer?
For the second question, teacher.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Because she said that they are violent, but what else did she share?
Exactly what she said, but she said that if children stay for a lot of time playing video games, the children could be violent.
The child.
The child.
Oh, well. Oh, I'm talking about children in general, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, good, Jason. Yeah, well, technically she was talking about her son in particular. That is why I was sending you the child. But yes, your opinion is talking about children in general, so we can keep it anyway. Thank you, Gerson. Question number 3, Jean-Claude. What about Steve's answer? Are violent video games a problem for children?
It means that not only video games, the films are too violent for children, but he said it depends of the audience playing or watch these films or games or video games.
And particularly for children.
I don't understand very well, but he said it's not are not violent for children, violent for children.
Well, actually, he said that they are violent, and as you said, it depends on the audience. That part is like correct. And precisely, like taking into account that type of audience that children are, like they are not supposed to watch those violent games, and as you said, movies as well. Let's like to expand a little bit, Jean-Claude. Yes. What about Carol's answer, Elkin?
Teacher, I don't know. I don't listen.
You don't have the third?
Yes, I don't have the question, the answer.
Okay. Let's ask Carlos. Do you have the third answer from Carol?
Teacher, I don't have the answer.
Oh my God. Brian. Do you have it?
Sorry, teacher, I don't listen the video because my internet is a little bit bad today.
Okay.
I don't listen.
I didn't listen. Does anybody maybe would like to share the answer? In case that you have it, maybe you have some ideas. Nobody got it? Impossible. Natalia, yes.
Teacher, I don't know sure,
I'm
but
not sure.
yeah, but he say that the video games was a problem for children, but I don't know why. Maybe for are is the violent? I don't know. I don't listen very well.
Okay, you're on the path. Natalia, let's see Lisette. What would you add to Natalia's answer?
Teacher, she said that researchers have shown that children who see guns or play with guns have more violent behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Very good, Lisette. So basically they agree that they are violent and their, let's say, explanation changes a little bit. In that case, talking about the impact that it has, of course, now talking about the studies. And finally, question number 4. Andres Correa, do you have the answer? How should parents prevent children becoming addicted from Imogen first?
No, teacher, I didn't get the last answer because I received a course, but I didn't get I didn't see the last part of the video. So sorry.
Okay. Brian, did you get it? You said that you had problems with the internet. Sorry. You had already told me what happened to you.
Yes, teacher.
Sorry, I forgot. Carlos, did you get that one? Number 4?
No, teacher.
My people, I know that we are really tired. Elkin. Did you get that one? That was?
No, we are in the, I am in the same place with my partners and classmates. The last part was so difficult.
Okay. Jean-Claude, did you get it?
Teacher, I just listen very well. Carol, she said that the parents should be pay attention on their children's when they play in video games because it's impossible prohibir, ¿cómo se diría, teacher?
Forbid or prohibit?
Prohibit that they play in video games.
Very good, Jean-Claude. Yeah, that's what Carol said, basically. And, well, we have Imogen pending. Gerson, what did he say? What did she say, sorry? About number 4.
Okay, teacher. What the person?
Imogen from number 4.
But sincerely, the last part I didn't understand, but I think she said if you stay present with the restriction, the age, it mean in the video game is the range of the age recommended for the child. You having a problem when the addiction. I think that was.
Well, that is discussed particularly, but she provides like an opinion that actually makes sense. I don't know if someone has the information that Imogen shared and you would like to like volunteer to answer it. Otherwise, I would have to go with all the list until I find the person who has the answer. Who thinks that maybe you got some? Yes, Lisette.
Teacher, I listened something like that. Parents should encourage children to variety of interest and don't say children don't play video games because they will do it faster.
Yes, a variety of interests. Very good. Very good, Lisette. We find that word again, right? Encourage. Remember that I was asking you a few minutes ago what encourage means when you said like incentivar, motivar. And once again, it was presented in here. Guys, I know that it was tricky. I'm not going to say that the information was easy to get because you had to do like two different things at the same time. Well, like taking notes and at the same time, like deciding based on the information, which was the question that they were answering. That is why also I was telling you, take some notes, you know, because they say a lot of things. So trying like to remember every single detail, it's impossible. We can't deny that part. So I know that probably in some parts it was a little bit more complicated than expected. Okay, guys, very good. To finish this part, as you can see on your book, the final part says work in small groups and discuss the questions above. Now, this is the moment when I actually want to know your opinion. We have been listening to the different opinions that other people have had about video games. And of course, the intention now that you are going to share what you think. That is basically the idea on this part. Let me make sure I'm creating the rooms. And maybe up to this point, if you want to share like a particular experience that you've had talking about playing video games, that's up to you. And that would be absolutely great. So guys, they're going to talk about the 4 questions that we have in here. Remember that the intention is hopefully, if it is possible, to come up with a summary. I know that everybody has a different opinion and that's normal, you know, that's not a problem. But it is not like I'm going to like provide an example. Okay, Lisette said this, Mabel said this, and Yesid said this. No, let's try to find like common ground where we can actually provide our opinions. But once again, if my opinion is way too different from the opinion that the other person is providing, well, we have to separate the 2 ideas, okay? So in conclusion, answer these 4 questions as a group, and when we come back, you're going to present or to share like a summary. I am not going to send you a link like to write down your answers in this case. You decide if you want to share your screen, if you want to write down your ideas. But once again, the idea that when we get back, each group is going to present, well, to socialize the answers collected from the 4 questions. Okay? Guys, did you have any questions about the instructions?
No, teacher.
Okay, now I want to know your opinion, what you think about this. In total, I'm going to assign 15 minutes when we get back. We share our ideas and then we talk about our speaking exam for tomorrow. Let's start. Hi guys.
Teacher, tenemos una duda, es que no sabemos cuáles son las 4 preguntas que toca hacer, no sabemos si son estas 4 que estamos acá proyectando
No,
o las 4 del video.
las 4 del video.
Ah, son las 4 del video.
Sí,
Ok,
señor.
listo. Thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Okay, welcome guys. Bye.
Bye. Sí.
Well, guys, welcome back. I hope that you had the opportunity to share some of your ideas. Now what we're going to do, or what you are going to do is to share with the whole group. They also have a look at these 4 questions. I told you in this case, it was not necessary like to, or I didn't send like a link to write down your answers. You decided how you were going to, let's say, collect that information from each group. So tonight we have 5 groups. Let's begin with group number 3. In group number 3, we had Elkin, Gerson, and Julian. Elkin, from the 4 questions, tell me 2 that you discussed with your group, that you guys discussed, okay?
We discussed about the 4 questions, but the most important question for our group was the 4th question. How should parents prevent children becoming addicted? And for our group, we talk about different options and resume or summarize and 3 important advice.
Okay.
And the first advice is the parents must have more control about the time that their children and spending playing, and they are planning. No, they should planning.
They should plan.
Plan. Excuse me. Yes, it's continuous. No, it's not continuous. They should plan and a schedule about with different activities to did in the house. To do in the house, done?
To do
in the house. And like wash the dishes and clean your room. And after this, after they finished these activities, they can or they can, yeah, I'll say they can play a certainly time, about 1 or 2 hours. It's like reward, yes. The second advice is the parents should control too the time that their children go to bed, because the sleep is el sueño is
sleep is okay.
The night sleep is correct. Is the most important. Is more important. Quiero decir, I want to say, es el sueño, es como la hora más importante. Sueño es la nocturna. The most important time.
Hour or time. Yeah, because we're talking about time in general.
Yes.
Okay. And the third advice, Elkin, because I have to move to the other group. You said three pieces of advice, right?
Yes, 3 advice. The third advice is the parents should try to show different video games, excuse me, that aren't violent.
Okay.
Like video games about sports, or video games that you need to build, or strategy video games. You need to do some things to solve any problem in that game.
Okay. Interesting. Group number 3, and Elkin, thank you very much. I would like to ask group number 1. We have Lisette, Mavely, and Jessit. Mavely, choose one of the questions because of time, of course, the one that you probably agreed a little bit more, and what are your ideas about it?
Sorry, teacher, you can repeat?
Sure. From the 4 questions that we had in here, choose one that you discussed in your group.
Teacher, number 1. What is an acceptable amount of time to spend playing video games? We think 1 or 2 hours per day are acceptable to spend playing video games because this is time perfect to
This is perfect time.
enough time to enjoy.
Okay, very good. It doesn't matter the type of game. That's the amount that you suggest, right?
Yes.
Okay, group number 1. Thank you very much, Amabeli, that I asked you to be the speaker. Group number 5, we had Carlos, Jean-Claude, and Johan. Jean-Claude, the same idea. Which question did you agree like the most from the 4 that we had in here?
The number 1. We agree that children should play video games for a maximum of 2 hours a day.
Okay. Okay. The same. Oh, well, sorry, I interrupted you. I don't know if you had something extra to add.
No.
Okay. Well, the same question that I was asking group number 1. It doesn't matter the type of game. That's the amount of time that you consider is like appropriate. Or maybe depending on the game, would be more, would be less. I don't know if you discussed those aspects in your group. I'm just like wondering.
We discussed the number 4 too.
Okay.
We think that parents should pay attention of their children and the type of video game they play. We discussed to the number 3, and we agree that the video games are probably not the only influence of a violent child.
Yeah, that is true. It is not, I mean, we can't rely only on video games, like the whole responsibility
exactly.
of becoming violent or having a violent behavior. That is like the political correct way to say that. Okay?
Okay, teacher. Perfect.
Great. Thank you very much. Group number 4. Jose, Natalia, and Silvia Natalia. Silvia Natalia, which question did you actually agree to the most from the 4 that we had in here?
We agree about what is an acceptable amount of time to spend playing video games. And we think that 2 hours is an acceptable amount of time to spend playing video games. Perhaps spending more time will be dangerous to mental health within that.
Okay. 2 hours every day, every week, every other day.
2 hours every day. But this is when you have enough time because like we can spend 2 hours every day to playing video games.
Absolutely.
So yes.
Okay, very good. Depending on that situation. Very good, Silvia. Thank you very much. Last but not least, group number 2. We only have Andres and Keiner. I don't know where the other person went. Keiner, which question did you agree the most in your group?
The most agreed was the 4. We think that parents must be control the amount of time that children play video games and encourage what genres of video games the children can play. And also it's important to have an open and honest conversation with children about the potential risks and upsets in gaming.
Okay, very good. Did you have, well, I know that it was like really reduced the amount of time, but did you talk about the possible genres of video games that they could play, or?
Yes, teacher. We think that children only can play at the weekend and control if they can play if they finish their homeworks. Because it's not a good idea play video games every day for 2 hours.
Absolutely. Okay, General Group number 2, thank you very much. And guys, before we go, something that we have been discussing from the beginning of our cycle. Remember that tomorrow we have the final speaking part. Tomorrow we'll let you know the topics that you as a group will be using to create your conversations. Maybe we didn't discuss this before. I already arranged the list. This is like the final list. I had to move some names, well, the names that were individually. I think that everybody's already here. Keep in mind that the number doesn't affect or doesn't have an impact on the order. I mean, I'm not going to say that this is group number 1 and they're going to be the first one, and then group number 7 is going to be the last one. Just like we do, like in the previous activity. There are 5 groups and I probably begin with number 3 or maybe with number 4. That's up to me, okay? Just like to make sure that we are on the same page, let's put it like that. The idea is to begin as early as possible. I know, guys, that you are taking the written part, but the idea is not to finish at 11 p.m. So I really, really hope that during the written part, the time is enough. Anyway, you have only 110 minutes, but hopefully you can manage the time. So we can begin at 8. During the first minutes, as I already told you, I'm going to share the material that is going to be your point of reference to start creating the conversations. Guys, it's very important. I know that you know, but it's like to make it explicit, you have to turn your camera on, you know. Probably if you have problems with connection, etc., or the device, make sure that for tomorrow, for the speaking part, you have a camera that works. If the camera doesn't work, then you can't take the speaking part. It is something that we can't negotiate. When the speaking part is finished, you can abandon the Zoom meeting. I will visit every group, you know, every room. We do the speaking part, and that's it. And of course, when we have a look at the instructions, make sure that you keep in mind the amount of time that you have to do it and the amount of time that you have for the performance. You will know that tomorrow. Anyway, I told you that the individual part will have 40 seconds to answer the questions, and the conversation, like the final performance, is up to 2 minutes. And well, guys, finally, the first group, of course, is going to finish earlier, and unfortunately, there will be a group that will finish at 10 p.m. That's life, you know? So I hope that you are patient enough during tomorrow's speaking part. Guys, I would like to know if you have any question before we go. No questions? Okay.
No, teacher.
Thank you. Guys, to refresh your memory, the rubric is in our folder. In case that you want to check one more time the different aspects that I'm going to use as a point of reference to evaluate and assess your performance. Well, also tomorrow, because of time, I will provide a very general feedback because I have to move to the other groups. And you know that we don't have like a final revision. That's all that we have. Okay. Well, guys, tomorrow we finish our cycle B1.2. So have a wonderful night and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
teacher.
teacher.
Bye,
Thanks.
teacher.
Bye, teacher.
Take care,
Bye,
everybody.
teacher. See you tomorrow.
See you.
Bye, teacher.